So from the idea of meeting other people with a traveler's mindset, I've constructed the idea of the STAR approach, STAR, as in star. And that's just an abbreviation. And the S here is for stop, and the T is for think, the A is for assess, and the R is for request. So that's the basis STAR. Assuming that you have already accepted that you're biased, and that you now know that 80% of your perception of the situation and the conversations that you are in has to do with your inner world and not the inner world of anyone else, is a great starting point to stop your bias from controlling your actions, your perceptions, and your conclusions. So if you shift your mindset into thinking that you're going to meet other people as a traveler, and assume that you really have no idea what's going on inside their minds, you really have no idea what happened in their past, then that is going to change your mindset about how you see that person. That is going to change your mindset about jumping to conclusions. If you implement that way of thinking, like you meet somebody as if they grew up in a completely different place than you did, someone you meet on the other side of the world, that is going to shift your mindset as to how you perceive everything that they say and do. Because you will know that your perception of their words and actions has nothing to do with them, but it has everything to do with you. You see everything through the lens of your bias. You see everything through the lens of your life so far. And here you have encountered a key to mitigate bias. So from now on, when you experience something, you have the tools available to check whether that experience is in line with the other person's intentions or with the actual reality. Because what you're going to do is you're going to stop, think, assess, and request. You're going to identify the feelings that you get. You're going to take a look at the perception, the process that is going on inside of your mind, and you're going to see your conclusions from a distance. And then you have the possibility to check with the other person who created this response in you, whether or not that is an appropriate reaction. So stop, think, assess, and then request. Ask them for various different reasons. Some people think that is difficult because it feels vulnerable, because you don't want to be perceived as stupid, or any other kind of negative connotation that you have to asking dumb questions or personal questions. But the potential gain from actually doing that is huge. Let's say, for instance, that someone is insulting you, or at least that is the conclusion that you have come to based on the words that they have chosen to use, the body language that you see, and based on the filters that you have inside of yourself in order to interpret that information. What can you do? You have at least two options. You can walk away from the situation and just keeping your conclusion that that person isn't and have insulted you and you don't want anything more to do with them. And you can even start avoiding them. Or you can turn to them and spend 5 seconds of your life saying, I'm sorry, I'm not sure if I understood you correctly. When you said ABC, did you mean, or what did you mean? And when their life so far is completely different from yours, with a certain level of probability, I'm going to say that 9 out of 10 times, you are wrong. Because very rarely do people actually intentionally try to harm you. And so if you do that little mental process and you take the chance to ask that question, you have like a 9 out of 10 chance to resolve a situation before it has become a situation. And in the last instance, if these people are actually trying to insult you, well, at least you have identified that. And you can take the appropriate measures for yourself.